Hey, I'm Matt at Mr. Maple.
And I'm Tim at Mr. Maple.
And we're here in the J.C. Ralston Arboretum. We're actually here in early March. The Japanese maples are just about to leaf out, but we want to show you something we think special. You might not like this plant, but you may love it. This is an Arakawa here in the garden, and it's actually had a tree fall on it, so it's made a really unique shape to this one. But the key feature of Arakawa is that amazing bark.
Acer palmatum Arakawa, often known as a rough bark, some people even call it an alligator bark Japanese maple, has some really nice winter interest because that bark makes this tree look like a really old tree.
Yeah, Arakawa is going to leaf out a lush green in the early spring, actually gets to a little more of a darker green. Some amazing fall colors. The fall colors are super underrated. I've had it almost be a fuchsia. It starts out goldeny yellow though, and just goes through some amazing changes. Even getting to a darker orange and then even just like a fuchsia color. So some really good color changes on this one. But what's really popular for Arakawa is using it for bonsai. And that bark lends itself perfectly to creating that older forest look or that older tree look. I wanted to step in here and show you this one even out of leaf. It's actually had some damages from another tree falling on it, but it gives it such a unique shape. I think any bonsai person would love this plant.
Yeah, like Matt said, this is one of the most underutilized trees for fall color. The fall color on Arakawa is amazing, but also the fact this is so popular for bonsai. Arakawa is probably one of our #1 requested trees when people who love bonsai want to start out a grafted Japanese maple.
Yeah, we like to do this one as a nice low graft so it cleans up really well and it starts to get that fissured bark. And like Tim said, what really sets Arakawa apart is it almost has that alligator-like skin, so it has that buckle to it, so you get more of like that buckled bark. Gives a really unique habit to it. It's an excellent tree for the landscape. You can put this in the garden and have that, that fissured pine bark look on the bark, but it's excellent for bonsai. I mean, that's really what it's most popular for.
I love this tree because even out in the landscape, the fissured bark makes this tree look like it's a couple hundred years old. And what that does is it gives a really nice ancient feel to a smaller tree in the landscape and gives it that bonsai-esque look even if you're growing it in the landscape and garden.
This is actually a pretty quick grower if you leave it in the landscape. Under normal conditions, this tree typically grows about a foot a year and makes a nice upright tree in that 10 to 14 foot kind of range. Excellent for the landscape, very sun tolerant as well. This one works in full sun up to zone 8, and it works as a cultivar zones 5 through 9. So an excellent Japanese maple for the garden, and one we thought we wanted to give you a close-up look of this very unique tree. This one has a little bit more of a unique shape, being that it's here in the shade and it's had a tree fall on it before, but I think it makes it even more special. So here we have an up-close look at that very fissured bark on this Acer palmatum Arakawa. You can really see what Tim was mentioning about that buckled look to it. So it has even deeper fissured bark, kind of gives it that alligator skin type appearance.
Yeah, and it really just gives it that appearance where it looks very aged on a Japanese maple. So it really just gives it that nice feel of an aged garden, even if a plant may not be that old.
Arakawas typically start to develop bark around that 7 to 8 year mark, so very young in relation to how they look. I mean, they're going to look super old and super developed in the landscape.
I really like this tree because it just gives such a unique feel for a Japanese maple. It really gives that essence of Japan and is a great tree for traditional Japanese gardening.
I like siting this one around some evergreens so you really show off that bark, but you also get that fiery fall color. Hey, we hope you like this quick look at Acer palmatum Arakawa.
This is such a unique Japanese maple with year-round interest with that deep fissured bark.
Hey, if you're using it for bonsai or in the landscape, this is a Japanese maple you're going to want in your garden. Take a second, please like and subscribe if you're getting something out of these videos. We greatly appreciate it. Who's tree geeky enough to show you a Japanese maple out of leaf? Only Mr. Maple. So we greatly appreciate you taking a look at that. Like and subscribe and share our videos.
Take care.
God bless.
And have a great day.